What's up? What's up? I fucked up the dates and times. It's Friday in Berlin today. I fucked it up. So hopefully, so we have to do it now. We have to do it now. Apologies to the sneaker queen. Okay. Oh, so sorry. Yeah. Man. Okay. Marine, what's up? Hello.
Hi.
I'm so sorry. I messed up the date. Yeah. Yeah. We've been in heavy lockdown and now we can go out. So my partner and I went out to dinner, and then that's why I thought, because usually when I look at the timetables, the previous day, it's usually previous day, and I didn't check to see the hour difference. So I thought, oh, that's why I wrote it. You know what I mean? But yeah, sorry about that. But thank you for still joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, 100%, 100%. Yeah. Well, the first time I asked you, I remember was a while back, and you were really busy, and because you came recommended to me by Cali Vegas, and this is a good friend of mine, and then he said, "Man, if you can, you got to get women on your show," and you were the first one. He said, "Yeah." So
Well,
thank you for coming on my show.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
No worries, my pleasure. Now, for the people that are going to watch in the future and that are watching now, if you want to introduce yourself and tell people what you do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, my name is Julia. I'm also known as Sneaker Queen, which is a nickname that was given to me by mostly the graffiti community here in Berlin, because I'm friends with quite a few graffiti writers. And in graffiti scene, there's an alter ego name, which is pretty common to have. So I was given
Yes.
the name Queen, also due to my blog, which I have been writing for quite some time, which is sneakerqueen.de, where I share my passions about sneakers and my views and my experiences and everything that I do with sneakers. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's me. I'm a freelance photographer from Berlin. I was born and raised in Berlin, and this is where I still live.
Awesome. Well, my partner was a former female graffiti writer from Melbourne. One of the only ones at the start before it started getting like a lot more notice. The females. I'm heavily involved. Like a lot of my close friends are top writers and stuff like that. But
Yeah, Melbourne has a pretty nice scene when it comes to graffiti.
especially the trains, it's got a heavy train scene. It always
Yeah.
has had a train scene. Now every question I ask my guests when they come on is, when you were a kid, let's say, I don't know, like here we call it grade 5 and 6, just before high school or something like that. Like, or when you were younger, was there a sneaker or a basketball shoe or something like that you seen and you were like, wow, you know what I mean? Like either you could get it or you couldn't get. You couldn't until you were older. Like, what was there a shoe that like blew your mind when you were a kid that you really wanted?
So I have an older sister. She's a year and a half older than me, and
Yeah,
she has always been. Style was a big inspiration, obviously. Like usually, the older siblings are the ones that you first look up to. I would say, even like your parents later on, maybe you realize that you look up to them because you realize what they actually did for you. But I think
yeah,
the person that you start looking up to is your older siblings, and it was the same with me. My sister was also into hip hop way before me, obviously, and
yeah,
kind of gave me the inspiration for a lot of stuff. Also with sneakers, her friends were mostly rap artists or DJs, and I looked.
awesome.
So this was inspiring to me. So one of the models that definitely was one of the shoes that I always wanted to have at the teenage age, but wasn't allowed to have because it was a white sneaker, and I was a pretty bad tomboy. So my mom would never buy me white sneakers, only black
Yeah,
sneakers or colored
yeah,
sneakers. And the Adidas rivalry was definitely
yeah,
a pair, kind of a holy grail for me
yeah,
at the beginning. which was also the reason why I decided to do a collaboration with Adidas on that shoe, because it was really one of the first models that struck me as exceptional. The Forum also, but it was such a different price category already back then. So the rivalry was a little bit of a everyday Forum, I would say, because the Forum was such a technical and advanced and expensive sneaker also.
Yes, yeah, it would have been. I do have a pair of Forums that I got cheap, secondhand off someone. They're good. They're 10 years old and they're like pretty good condition, you know. And
Are they
talking about, yeah, very comfortable.
It's
Yeah,
interesting that you say that, because I had the experience that the Forums after 2005-ish produced had a really different feel to them, and they were much, much less comfortable to me anyway. But, you know, it's always a question of what shape of foot you have and how the shoe
well,
fits.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think these ones, because I showed Kelly Vega, he said, "Oh, let me see the inside tag," you know, and I think these ones were 2010
Yeah.
ones, and
Okay.
they're cool, you know. I don't wear them every day. You know, I've got a few pairs. It's hard to wear every shoe every day, you know. Some, yeah. Now talking about Adidas, and you have worked with so many brands, you know. Would you like to start talking about the Adidas one first before we get into the your LS tanker? And
Yeah. I already mentioned I did this collaboration with Adidas, which was a really exceptional project, because usually, you know, collaborations are for people with a big fan audience or famous people, you know.
yeah,
And this
yeah,
was a project that was called the Collectors Project, and it was just for collectors around the world. They chose collectors from different countries that they thought represented the brand with their collecting passion. And I was one of the lucky ones, actually the only female collector that they selected for this project. And yeah, we all got to choose our favorite Adidas model and reinvent it in our own idea, put our own spin on it. And that was quite some time ago though already. I mean, it's 2013, I think, so 7 years ago already. It's quite some time
yeah.
ago. Yeah, and coming from that to the LS collaboration that I did, which was also pretty cool project. And actually our common friend Kali Vegas was the one who also participated in that.
Yeah. And I
Really,
know
really.
Frank. I'm a good friend of Franklin's as well, the King of Trainers.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, great. Yeah, yeah. He did a very successful model. The resonance was pretty intense on that, which was great. I mean, I'm so happy for him. It really turned out to be a great success. And
yeah,
yeah, it was basically just asking people from the scene to put their idea on the LS tanker. And my approach for this whole thing was very similar to the approach that I had with collaborations before. So, for example, with the Adidas collaboration, I had the approach that I definitely wanted to stay as close as possible to the original, but put a kind of a deluxe spin on it. And
yeah,
the same it was with this LS sneaker. So I was thinking, okay, it is hard to top the original. I think the original is really a landmark of design. I mean, if you look at sneakers from around that time, there's nothing comparable to it. The Air Trainer, which would maybe kind of be a comparison, came years later. So it's really an exceptional model. So I thought, okay, what can we do? What can I do better? Or what can I, how can I elevate the concept of the original design? And so I decided to more or less stick with the original colors, the white and the blue and red and yellow. But I did a little bit of a summer version of it. So the blue is a little bit more beachy, not so royal blue, but more like a beach blue. And I chose some snakeskin for the panels, because I thought, you know, snakeskin is always a deluxe material. I also used snakeskin on my rivalries, and snakeskin for me, when I started collecting in the 90s, was always a material that was like the pinnacle of exclusiveness, you know. So it was right in the 90s, if you wanted an
yeah.
exclusive
You had
snakeskin
something.
material to go with.
100%. Do you have those shoes handy, the Rocky and
Yeah,
the tank? Yeah.
I took them out today, and let me just get it. So I don't know how to film this properly. So I brought
That's okay.
them. Actually, let me check. Can I turn this around? Ah, very good. So this is the shoe. Let me just get it sorted here. And we got some pretty nice seating box, actually, pretty nice seating box from LS, where they have the design council box, and they put a pretty nice entrance logo for when you open the box, and also use the logos. And the shoe, let me just sort this, sorry. Okay, so the shoe is, like I mentioned, the concept behind it is to use the original shape. And also maybe you have noticed that the re-release of the tanker was with a different logo. So I really tried the original logo onto this. It actually took quite some emailing to describe what I actually was going for, because, you know, this little plaque that they have in the actual collection really wasn't for me something like option to stay to the original. So I definitely wanted this original big logo. I think this makes up most of the shoe, the idea of having such a big logo. And as you can see, I used the snakeskin, which the guys from the design team pretty nicely. And we have a little Sneaker Queen logo on the back and on the side. And oh, you see, I already wore them.
You have to, of course.
Yeah, I actually, all of the shoes that I own, I actually own to actually wear them. So usually I try to stay, I don't try to stock my shoes. I try to rock them.
Yeah, and you have a lot. I've seen your photo. You have quite the collection.
Yeah, I do. So let me switch again. Here we are. Yeah, so that's the tanker.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because there was a big rush for that, and I entered the comp as well. And Franklin, it was funny because when Franklin came on my show, I showed a lot of LS to him that my partner and myself had, and a week later, he told LS about. I was actually on their podcast that Franklin hosted together with LS, you know, so that was good. I got to do that. That was cool doing that, getting interviewed and that for their podcast, you know.
Yeah, we also had a talk together, Franklin and I. He also invited me to one of his talks. So yeah, he has a lot of stories to tell. It's always interesting to get in touch with him.
Yeah. Now, do you have the rivalry?
Oh, that's actually a good question. I have to. I hope I don't lose you. I have to look. Actually, you can follow me in my other room. So you see, I try to keep my shoes used. So you see, my rivalry is actually standing here where my other shoes, my daily shoes are. And so this is the very worn rivalry of mine, which has a quite nice gimmick. It has a
it's got the logo.
That I was actually inspired by the original Ewing logo. I don't know if you remember the Ewing logo, which is basically identical to the one that you see here, only that instead of a crown you have a basketball, and obviously it says Ewing, not Sneaker Queen. So I really try to pay an homage to the original of this shoe by using a logo that I didn't want to use it so prominent like it was used on the original on the front. So I decided to put it a little bit in the back, you know, show a little bit. I wanted to stay a little bit humble and not, you know, put it as an advertisement. And also we had some cool chances to design other elements. So I designed the inside of the shoe. You can see.
That looks cool.
So this is actually inspired. You see that there's the different models from the series also inside of the shoe. So
nice.
Get inspired by the paper that you used to have at the on the original inlay paper. I don't know if you know, but the Ewing collection had wasn't only reduced to shoes, but it was also it also included apparel and bags and so on. And the whole collection of the Ewing collection was printed on the paper that was in the shoebox. So I
Oh,
thought that
really?
yeah, so I thought this was a great gimmick or a really nice packaging idea. And so I decided to put it on the inside of the shoe, a little bit different.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's look, they come out good. The insole, like I like when insoles have something cool inside it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and no one's gonna except for you unless you take your shoe off and show one of your friends. You know?
Yeah, I think in general, when it comes to packaging, the brands nowadays really should look to the past, because when it comes to packaging, not only what kind of box you choose, but also obviously what kind of paper, where you put the logos. So all these little details, if you have extra laces, maybe some lace jewelry, whatever, you know. So back in the days, like in the 80s and in the 90s, packaging was really a big part of selling the product, because storytelling was taken over the packaging. Packaging was part of the storytelling. So I really think this is kind of missing nowadays. I would like to see more interesting packaging, and I know it is a factor that for a general release, they don't want to invest the money for
Yeah.
packaging, but still, you know, I think packaging makes up a lot of the story, and for the consumer also a big argument to get a shoe or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you see the box, like, yeah, some boxes look grouse on the shoes, like you know, and you know, it's like when you're looking for what to wear, it's like, oh, there it is, and then you'll stare at the box when you open the shoes, and you're like, yeah, you remember when you buy it, you know what I mean, and you know, stuff like that. You know, now I've seen photos of your collection, and you said you started in the. Did you start in the '90s? What sparked it? What made you just want to collect shoes? Was it because you were involved in the hip hop and graffiti scene there in Berlin, or just like
This was
what's made you keep on collecting? Because I know that you have like some exclusives. You got some really old shoes from your face, crazy shoes to collect. You know what I mean? Like what just want to just start collecting?
So actually, the idea for collecting, I mean, I never really intentionally like started collecting. For me, it was more like I really was into sneakers. I liked shoes, and I bought shoes for the purpose of wearing them, because I like to wear them. And also, I started realizing that shoes are a status symbol in certain scenes. So, for example,
Yes.
in the graffiti
Yeah.
scene, they're a status symbol. So this was also a factor why I was more interested in it. And then also, I never was a girl to shop a lot for clothes or high heels. So most of my money went into buying shoes. And excuse me, I never really started buying for having a collection. I started buying shoes with the thought, oh, I like this model and I want to buy it. And then I kept it and I took care of it, because
Yeah.
like I already mentioned, my mom would very much take care that that my shoes didn't look sloppy. So I wasn't allowed white shoes. And when I started buying shoes with my own money, keeping them clean was a big factor, because I was taught as a child, you know, you always have to have clean
Yeah.
shoes. And therefore my shoes lasted for much longer. I didn't throw out my shoes, but I kept buying. So when I moved out, I think when I was around 20 years old, out of my parents' home, I already moved out with, I think, 150 pairs.
Wow. And how much do you think you have now? Like just by like around abouts, around like a rough round number,
Where you
or do
probably
you know?
the most asked question that I get. It's pretty hard to tell, because I hardly ever count my shoes, because I have a couple of storages here in Berlin. I don't keep everything at home. So I need some storage space. So what is in the storage space, I usually don't count. I have a little bit of an idea how much it is, but it's really hard for me to say. So I can give you an estimate of maybe 800 to 1,000 pairs, but this is just an estimate. I don't really, it could be over 1,000, it could be below 800. I don't really know.
And the ones that you keep at home with you, they're obviously your favorite ones, and the ones that you know that you're mostly gonna wear. Is
Well,
that
I
the ones?
try to keep
Or
most
like,
of my pairs at
oh,
home. Yeah. The shoes that are in storage are usually backup pairs. So if I have a model that I love a lot, you know, then I buy more than one pair. I sometimes buy two or maybe even three pairs. So that happens
Yeah.
that I have doubled up, and then usually the double up pair go into storage because I only need them when I'm going to wear them. And also at home, I'm trying to keep some like mostly wearing pairs, obviously, but also some pairs that I just like to have around that I don't feel comfortable putting them in storage.
Because Kelly Vegas told me he's really excited to watch this episode. So when it comes out, because he told me, he goes, man, he goes, her collection like destroys most people's collection, like, and you have a story, you know, and you know, you have a background. He told me, he goes, you've got a background working with all these you know, companies and stuff like that, and through sneakers, you know. I've seen a few photos of somewhere like you've got like some really old pairs of sneakers. What would be your most like I don't know, not rare, but like yeah, rare, or what's your favorite oldest sneaker that you own? Like any
That's like
brand.
DJ's favorite record, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's kind of
You,
impossible to say. Like, there's a couple of models that I have a very strong emotional connection to. For example, Jordan 4 Cement is one of the shoes that was the first shoes that really like got me feeling about sneakers. I really wanted this model, and it still has a special place in my heart. But I mean, there's different shoes that are interesting. It's mostly you would have to ask under which aspect, like the most rare, the most old, the most expensive is always hard to tell, because a collector's item in my eyes is always worth what somebody's willing to pay for
it's
it, right?
right. Well, you know, from my, obviously your most valuable ones would be the collaborations that you've done, like to yourself. You know, the tanker and the rivalry. I'll say, you know what I mean, like because holds it holds a personal value more, like, you know, because you got to, you know, have your own shoe like made. You know what I mean, and that's pretty cool. Every sneaker lover would love their own shoe. You know, at the end of the day, like, you know.
You're right. So I tried to pick up a couple, or I actually tried to pick out a couple of shoes that I thought that would be nice to show. So let me turn this around.
Yeah.
So this is one I think that just speaks for itself by the box. I think having these old school boxes is really something nice. This is not the best shape anymore, this box, but
Oh, look at that.
quite nice. Yeah, so these are Air Force 180, which were also known a little bit as a pump, because you see they have a nozzle here where you can actually pump. So this was a Nike version of the Punk. Unfortunately, you see there's not much wearing these anymore because these are pretty cracked already. But this is definitely one of my favorite pairs to have in my collection. Let me see if I can take it out carefully. So it's already a bit sticky. Hold on. Yeah, that's the sad part about collecting sneakers, you know, nothing is forever. So yeah, this is definitely one of the shoes that I would say is one of my more favorite pairs in my collection. And then also, let me put this back just for a second. I don't want to rush it with these, because once you drop them something, you just have some crumbled cookies in your hands. And then also, actually a pair that a lot of people have been talking about on Sneaker Barbecue. Oh, let me check this one. This is nice. Yeah, we all love those red boxes. Let me stick with Nike for now. So the Air Legend, I think, is one of the pairs that a lot of people have been posting in the last few weeks, and actually it's a model that I never saw as super limited, to be honest, because I actually own two pairs of these, and I bought them super cheap. I mean, I think I paid like $50 for them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so this is a model I love because it's a canvas model. Canvas is an amazing material on sneakers, in my opinion. Totally unfit to be worn because it just gets dirty so fast, so it's impossible to keep it clean. But
Yeah.
in one of my favorite, I mean, the AJKO is one of my favorite Jordan versions, because in my eyes, canvas gives a shoe a certain, I don't know, a certain look that makes it look a little bit like a track pant. You know, you can upstyle it, but you can also style it down.
Yeah.
I think canvas is a great material, and that's why I love these legends, because for me the legend was always the canvas version of the Air Force One, the slimmer female canvas version of the Air Force One. And then I also brought a pair that I really love, and was definitely my favorite purchase in the last couple of years, I would say, because this shoe is, I mean, I have to say it's quite rare that I find shoes that that I wasn't aware that they exist in this colorway, and this was actually one of these models. The name of the shoe you can see here is Lahar.
Mm-hmm.
And most people know the Son of Lava Dome and so on, and Lahar is a little bit of a less recognized model of this series, but
Okay.
so this is an escape version. I'm trying to find a better light. This is an escape version of the Lahar. So they had these beautiful limited edition tags on them, and I mean,
They're crazy.
look at this.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, so this is quite a rare to find colorway, I must say. It's a really beautiful model. I mean, perfect autumn colors, I would say. Dark green and this beige. It's such a beautiful model. I mean, hard to beat, I would say.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Actually wear this. I bought this 2 years ago and I still haven't put it on. So this winter, it's definitely going on my feet. Yeah, so this is let me see what the inside tag says. 88.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah, and like I said, this is one of my favorite buys in the last years, because the condition of the shoe is incredible. I've never bought a vintage pair that has such an incredible condition. I mean, I really have to say, let me get the better light here. This model is really unbelievable. Like, everything is still puffy and not crunchy at all. It's like out of the store new. I couldn't believe when I actually got this in the mail.
They're crazy. 1988. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, no cracking on the leather, nothing. I mean, it looks literally like you just took it off the shelf. It's an incredible material and shape. Still, it's still. I mean, yeah, I cannot say it often enough. I mean, I've rarely seen a shoe in this condition. It's unbelievable, really.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Did they cost you a bit, them ones?
Well, it was actually all right. I have to admit, when it comes to buying sneakers, I am quite stingy. So I'm a big bargain hunter, and when it comes to shoes, I like to keep the budget low. So I very rarely spend more than 180 euros on a shoe, which should equal around $200, or Australia, maybe 220 or 230. I don't really know what the course is at the moment.
Yeah.
But the Australian dollar is a little bit less than American dollar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say maybe I paid like I'm not sure actually, but with shipment, I think I paid altogether 180 or euros, which is a bargain.
That is a bargain for that. That's in condition. That's like you said, it looks like it just come off the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we don't stick with Nike the whole time, because most people, when they see my collection, they're like, okay. So before I did my Adidas collaboration, they were like, okay, do you have any Adidas? And then later on, when I had my Adidas collaboration, they were like, do you have any Nike? So I actually started collecting with Nike and Adidas, but I also love Puma, and I wanted to get this one. This is a Puma shoe from the mid-90s. Let me get the logo for you. This is a Canvas Super. And I'm not sure, but it must be around 96. And what I love about the shoe is it's a kind of a new spin on the Clyde.
Yeah.
And I love different materials on classic shoes. So this shoe is really a beautiful canvas version of the Canvas Super. And let me check, but I'm pretty sure it's a 96 model. It should be. Yeah. So it says, sorry for this bad camera handling here, but it's a little bit difficult. So yeah. September 96, you see.
Yeah.
Also a really beautiful shoe. And I chose this one because it's one of the shoes that I haven't been showing off my collection so far. And I think it's a Clyde or a Clyde-like shoe should be in the collection.
The colors are sick.
Yeah. So I tried to stick with autumn colors actually for this talk to have you to have a little bit of a autumn selection, because after all, you know, summer is over. So time to think about colors. So, and then one more shoe that I wanted to show you is this one. So I don't have the original box of this, but I think it's okay. So this shoe, I'm having regularly discussions with Quote about this. I don't know if you know him. He's a pretty known Adidas collector here in Berlin. And
okay.
A friend of mine.
Maybe send me his Instagram and I'll start following him.
I will, definitely. So this is a shoe called the Adidas Tech. And the discussion I'm having with Quote about this all the time is, what's the correct name of this? Because there is a version of this shoe where it says over here, soft cell. And soft cell, I don't know if you know what soft cell is. For the viewers who don't, is this thing here. So this jelly in the bottom sole that is put on the heel is supposed to cushion and it's a cushioning rubber in the bottom sole. And so some of the models have a soft cell printed on here and some don't. My one doesn't. Quotes does. And in the catalog, it's very interesting because back in the days when they did these catalogs for these shoes, they did the catalogs on the samples. So a lot of times they took a picture of a sample and they used it for the catalog. And then in the end, when the shoes were in store, they did look quite a bit different a lot of times, or even had a little bit different name. So with this shoe, in the catalog, it has the soft cell print on it. In some catalogs, in others it doesn't. And the discussion is always, what's the real name of the shoe? Is it Tech Soft Cell? In my opinion, that's how I like to call it, or just Tech. That's how Quote likes to call it, actually. The Tech is a total valid name for this. I just like to add Soft Cell because there's quite a few other Tech models from Adidas. You know, it's not the only model with that name.
That's a crazy looking shoe. The colorways are sick too on that. Yeah,
that's a pretty nice, and in my opinion, the perfect female shoe, because it has quite some nice, how do you say, fine lines on it.
Yeah, that's a tough shoe.
Well, glad you like it.
Yeah, it's killer. I like that Adidas. That's sick.
Yeah, so this is a quick peek in some of the models that I actually really enjoy and wanted to bring with me to show you. Let me get back to you on screen here. Yeah.
I'll show you. Let me pull out a pair. I'll show you this shoe. I'll show Kelly and Sol on Canvas, his business partner, this shoe. I never knew they existed. Right, I got it for $25. This shoe. I'll show you. Hold on, it's just here.
Okay.
This is an old bodybuilding, high toe. You know, Gold's Gym. You know that famous gym. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, Gold's Gym. This is a high top, a Gold's Gym high
Oh,
top.
oh,
Creator. I got this for $25, and shouts to Solomon. Like he couldn't believe I got it for such a bargain. But
amazing.
yeah, how crazy are they? You know, like
Tongue
it's
sticky?
pardon?
Is the tongue sticky?
No, it's not sticky, but it's just whatever was on it has come off.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
So it's yeah, you know what I mean. But except like that's still cool on that. I haven't tried to wear them. I put them on and they were quite comfortable for such an old shoe. I don't know when they were made. I never knew they actually made shoes. And all my friends, even my mate, the Fur King from New Jersey. Like as you can see, there's a lot of wear and tear on them
Yeah, but
and
that's
stuff. Like
the charm of a shoe as well, right? Of the vintage shoe.
yeah. Like I feel like wearing it so bad. You know what I mean? But like then I don't want to ruin it. You know. But it's still like it's sturdy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the guy I wore him a few times to the gym and just left them like just sitting there, you know. And then I seen them on Facebook where I get a lot of bargains from. Yes, I paid $25, but I never knew they existed. And I showed a few people, and they lost their shit when they seen it, you know. So I thought I'll show this to you. I know you've got a lot of.
Amazing example of how shoes were a lot of times also produced in the 80s because or in the 90s because you know these brands like Troop and so on, they were mostly I don't want to say biting, but it was mostly like the known models reinterpreted by these other brands and then sold for much less. So I do have quite a lot of shoes also that are for example, I have also like your gym shoe. I have a shoe from the NBA and it looks exactly like an Adidas Strider and it's even called Strider, but it's an NBA.
Really? Yeah.
So
That's
you
great.
have a lot of similarities in these type of shoes. One of my favorite examples, I actually have it here so I can take it out. I just need to, hold on. I just need to sort a little bit through the stuff. Maybe I can get the shoe out for you with one hand. Let me see, hold on. So you see these Troops, for example.
Yes, yeah.
Definite, I mean, everyone who knows the 180, not the one that I showed you, but the classic basketball 180. Let me just put you down for a second so I take this out. Yeah, just a second.
I'll put these back.
Oopsie. Yeah, so this is for these kind of shoes. Like we all know, or most of us know, the 180, and then you have a brand like Troop to pick up that concept, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. I know those ones.
And just make a 180 out of them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty common for back then, you know. And actually, I have to say, compared to the original 180s, these are pretty good shape still. I mean,
Yeah.
also but whoopsie, but still, you know, pretty nice shape still.
Yeah. That's a tough shoe.
I agree. Pretty nice because these brands love to play around like with different colorways that the other main brands or the inventors of the models didn't really dare. Or also with packaging. I mean, Troop had amazing packaging with these little booklets. They
Tracksuits was LL Cool J wore them flat out, you know.
Say that again?
I said tracksuits. Like even like if you look on their Instagram now, like the ones that LL Cool J used to wear in the 80s, you can buy them.
Yeah.
Like you can still buy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So they started with reintroducing these classics. They hit the retro. They got on the retro train a little bit later than the
Yeah,
most brands, but still they got on it, and they have quite a lot of stuff to retro.
they do. They've got like and I love Troop, man. It's sick. Like they got it's old school. You know what I mean? Like I'm 41. Like it's all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Although I have to say, when here in Germany, troops weren't so popular because I didn't sell them very much. Here in Germany, British Knights was quite known.
British Knights was popular here as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
100.
interesting.
Yeah,
I'm actually
yeah.
not sure the troop actually had stores or actually was sold in stores here in Berlin. Um, I have family in the US, so I visited the US quite regularly. So it's a little bit hard for me to remember which country had which shoes. But I
Yeah,
think it was
yeah.
a American release thing.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be lying if I knew if they sold it here, but I knew a few people, and I know a few people that do have pairs, but I don't know where they got them from. You know, I'll show you. I took some grails out. These ones, my partner got for me for my 40th birthday, and this is a pair of this is gonna freak you out. This is a pair of Sergio tennis shoes that Kelly Vegas doesn't have. And when I asked him about him, he goes, "Put it this way, yeah." He goes, "If I haven't got them, he goes, they're rare, like you know." So I don't know if you remember the tennis player Sergio Beguera.
Hmm.
Remember him? Well, this is his shoe, still with the tags on it. Yeah, yeah, like with the tags still on it, and you can see
Amazing.
there. So I wore these once on my birthday. We sat here on me and my partner, and we watched Cold Crush. Remember that movie Cold Crush on VHS? So we watched that, and I wore a video tracksuit, and I wore these. You know, I still left the tags on, and but
Yeah,
they're so comfortable. And this was actually the first time in my life that I had a signature shoe from someone that was actually made. Like it's not a retro. They never retro these shoes or nothing like that. But I got these for $60 of this young guy. So I'm guessing they were his dad's, and he never wore them.
nice buy.
You know,
Very good.
like the box is still, like the box is a little bit ripped and stuff like that. And
Yeah, it's
but
30
yeah,
years old.
yeah. But Callie told me, he goes, just wear them once because of the midsole. He goes, you don't want to crack it, and then you don't have the shoe in perfect
Yeah.
condition, you know. But it's hard not being able to wear them, you know. But then yeah, I'm lucky. Callie Vegas, you know, he's done a lot for me. You know what I mean? We're really good friends, and he got because of him. I actually got. I'm on his list, his top 10 list. The Sergio. He didn't even tell me. Liz, the shoe designer, told me that I was on his list when before she came on my show, and I was lucky enough.
Oh, you froze. Oh, there you are.
It's because I'm on 20% on battery, but the new Young line. So I
Nice.
got yeah, and that's just like amazing. And then Liz gave me the you know Liz Yoon, the one that brought the shoe back, Callie's shoe. So they took his
I have
original shoe,
contact with her
but she
personally.
gave me the shoe as
Ooh,
well. So,
nice.
yeah, yeah. So
Beautiful.
that's these are my grails. But the Sergio Begueras that my partner got for me, Callie told me, he goes, man, he goes, that's a shoe. Like that's a like no one really knows about that shoe. Like, you know, and I think he only ever got one shoe made because he wasn't on Sergio for that long. He got on Sergio when Pete Sampras or he was already on it, but Pete Sampras was gonna leave,
Yeah.
and then they thought, okay, we'll make him a shoe and he's gonna be the next, you know, thing, and then but yeah, they're my grails. But that's all I brought out. It's all got handy. I got a few up here, but they're not really. I don't know if they're rare ones, but they're cool ones. I don't care if they're rare or not. It's like I wear what I like. You know what I mean? I just love shoes. You know, like I love it. I love everything about them. You know what I mean? You open them, especially a brand new pair, and you put a brand new pair of socks on, and just the smell from the box, and then you open it and you put shoe on, and it's like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, there's no better feeling, you know. It's gross, you know. But what was I going to ask as well? Do you have any new projects happening shoe wise with any brands that you can talk about, or is it, if you know, if you can't because it hasn't happened yet, that's totally understandable as well.
So what I can talk about is, you know, I'm quite, I try to engage myself in quite a lot of and anything that you can tell a story about sneakers. That was also actually the main intention of starting my blog, is to talk about background information, socio-cultural background of a sneaker. And at the moment, today is Friday. So today, last week ago, 7 days ago, the Adidas original store, which is the first original store. Sorry about that. That was also my plug. Because I cannot keep you on here without being plugged in. My phone charger needs to be in the whole time. Otherwise, I'm gone in 5 minutes. So yeah, sorry.
I said my phone's about to die soon as well.
Better plug it in.
Yeah.
So, I try to do a lot of exhibitions, and I'm just just last week I opened a small exhibition, a little archive exhibition, because the original store here in Berlin has reopened its doors, and they designed this inside of the store, and the inspiration for this store inside was the archive, the Adidas archive in Herzogenaurach. And I don't know if you ever had a look. There's quite a few videos up on the archives for the people who aren't lucky enough to go visit themselves. So the archive is a quite impressive space in Herzogenaurach, because it is, to my knowledge, one of the very few archives by brands that is actually taken care of in a manner that they're really working on not only publicating things about the archive, but also schooling. And not only schooling mainly not schooling the consumer, but schooling the designers. And I think this is a really important step, because just when you showed me your Sergio sneakers, you can already see, when you have an original vintage shoe in your hands and compare it with a retro version, I mean, of course, the material and the quality, how it is produced, is not going to be the same, because it's produced for a fraction of the amount that it was produced back in the days. So obviously, it cannot have the same quality, but also shape-wise and small factors that play a role in production. For example, how much time you put into production, how much time does a shoe have to dry once it's glued together, and all these factors are pretty important for the final shape. If you don't have a lot of time for a shoe to dry, it's much more likely that the front of the shoe will come up and, you know, bend up, because glue will just, you know, pull it up when it's not in the last anymore. So all these factors that change an original shoe to a vintage shoe are really a big thing. And I think it's really important for the archive to educate not only consumers, but also designers. And the idea behind that was also to have in the original store. So I selected a small collection from the shoes that I thought represented Berlin sneaker culture. And I really tried to not go on my personal view about this, because obviously I have some favorite shoes that I would like to exhibit as originals and I think are interesting for collectors. But I really try to go the route to check, okay, what shoes are being worn in Berlin? What shoes have been worn in Berlin? What shoes have a cultural history here with the city? And I chose 9 models that I exhibited in the store. They are there at the moment. And we did a nice little project where we have ceramic artist, Sebastian Haslauer, and this ceramic artist reinterpreted the shoes that I chose and made ceramics out of them. So he made these beautiful porcelain sneakers of the shoes that I made, and so we're exhibiting these in the original store at the moment.
Nice. Sorry, I'm just gonna plug in.
Yeah, you better do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll lose you.
Uh, uh, yeah, it is. It's funny when you because Kelly's very funny about giving his old shoes. Uh, is that charging? Hopefully it is. All right, yeah. But apparently, like when on the episode when we talked about it with Liz, like the manufacturers hated her guts because she kept on sending them back because she did because it had to be exact like his shoe from '84, and then he gave it the pass, and like it was pretty identical. Like and then just to remake it from the actual shoe, like there was no blueprints, nothing. Like they lent his shoe from '84, and like they kept on sending it back because they didn't want to hand stitch the bit here. They just wanted to make it fake stitching with the rubber. And it's like, no, you can't do that. It wasn't like that in the '80s, so you can't do it like that. But if you can, yeah, send me some photos of the shoes after the show, so I can post them on my page of the ones that you gave to the exhibit. And if you can, what was I going to say? Yeah, send me a link of your blog so I can see the blog,
Absolutely.
because yeah,
Uh,
because I don't know any of that stuff. I'm not like, you know what I mean. Like I just do my show here, and then like I don't know shoe blogs or you know what I mean. Like I'm not yeah. But if you can, yeah, 100%. You know, but yeah, I want to say thank you. Sorry for the stuff up as well, first of all, but thank you so much for coming on the show. And in the future, probably if you want to come back, come on and show a few different pairs. And yeah, 100%. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
Oh, there he is, Kelly Vega. It's 1985. Sorry, not 1984. That was made in 1985. Yeah.
Actually,
But thank
people
you.
how much work goes to recreating an original. I mean, when I did my rivalry, I think we did 5 samples only for the shape. And after 5 samples just for the shape of the toe box, I still wasn't 100% happy with it, but I maxed it out as much as I can. And so we
Yeah.
stuck with the shape. But it's really, I think a lot of people underestimate how much work actually
Yeah, it
goes into
takes.
these little details.
Yeah, it's a full ball breaker. Yeah, I've heard it, and it does. Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort to recreate a
It's
shoe. You know.
something that you have to re-explain over and over again to certain people, because for people who are not doing this every day or looking at the shoes every day, there's no difference for other people. You know, for those people, it's really like, okay, but they do look the same. No, they don't. So it really
Yeah.
quite a hard process to get a original shape remade. I mean, look at the MX90 that they released this year for the anniversary. I mean, I think they did a phenomenal job on the reconstruction. But if you have an original standing next to it,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy to see
You can tell. You can see. Yeah, you can see the differences in the years of the retros from '90s. Like you can tell. Like my partner's got her favorite shoe is the Pegasus, but then the Air Max one, the first Air Max, and which is
perfect
funny because
example.
I've got a book. I've got a book, and it's like my friend Mikey, he gave me this book about sneakers, and it's got Tinker Hatfield's sketches of the Pegasus, but then it's got how he created the MX1 from the Pegasus. Like you can see like the sketch there of that one. I'll send you a photo of it. It's pretty hectic. Like I never knew that. Like it's just got cool stuff at the back of the book, like of shoe designers sketches, first sketches of their like most famous, what they're known for, you know what I mean?
And
And
those are interesting usually because they really give you the vibe of what the designer was actually after. They give you a vibe
yes,
of what the shoe was actually supposed to represent and what kind of shape it was actually the designer was feeling for the shape. Is super interesting for me. So the
yeah,
evolution is really one factor that is most interesting to me, which is also the reason why I got more interested in these in-between models. Like I was, of course, a fan of the MX-1 and the MX-90, but before it was popular, I was a huge fan of the MX Lite, because for me, it is one of those in-between models that most people don't know or didn't know back then.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
beautiful. So, yeah.
No, 100%. Well, once again, thank you, Julia, for coming on the show. And it's going to be on my IGTV. I'll send it to you. And once my friend, he takes the footage and then he gives it back to me so I can put it on YouTube. I'll send you the YouTube one as well. But God bless, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All the best in the future. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. And you too. Have a great weekend.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we just have to figure out how to get out here.
I'll get to it. It's all good. Thank you very much. Yes. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I got the days mixed up. So for people who are going to watch tomorrow night, I'm sorry we've done it tonight. Thank you once again to Sneaker Queen for coming on. And there will be more female collectors coming on my show. I've done 41 episodes, and now this is the third out of 41. But as you know, if you were here from the start for the first 8 episodes, I think it was, I was doing it by myself. And but yeah, because they don't, proper, females in the sneaker world and stuff like that, collectors, they don't really get a big shout out as some of them deserve. And yeah, there will be more. And thank you once again to all my all the people that support my show. And yeah, have a great weekend. And this will be on IGTV if you come on a bit late. You know what I'm saying? And have a good one.